Hello students, welcome to Nilagiri Degree and PG College YouTube channel. In previous class, we have discussed types of data structures, primary, primitive and non-primitive data structures, linear and non-linear data structures, static and dynamic data structures, sequence, axis and direct axis data structures. So today we will discuss about arrays, which is in second chapter, linear data structure, or you can say that linear data organization. So we'll see about first array. In C language and in C++, we already discussed about arrays. So generally, before going to array, we will discuss about variable. What is variable? A variable is a quantity that can be changed. It's why in the field of computer science, you will say that variable is a name given to the memory location. Variable is a name given to the memory location. So for example, say A. So this is a memory location, and giving a name to this memory location, the name is A. We know that in computer memory, every 1 byte have an address. In computer memory, every 1 byte have an address. Just like address maybe, just say like that 1142. 1142 is the memory address. So generally, in the RAM, every location is divided into bytes. Every byte have an address. So this is a 1 byte, this address is a 1142. So to access, so in this memory location, we can store the value, say for example 10. We can store a value 10. So this value furtherly can be used in the program memory. You can be used in the program execution. So to use this value, we are giving a name to this memory location. So furtherly, whenever we use variable A, that means that the value is 10. The value is 10. So that means variables are used to give the names to the memory location where constants are stored. In this memory location, we store a constant. So here 10 is a integer value. 10 is a integer value. We say that A is an integer variable. A is an integer variable. Okay, this is about the variable. See, when you want to read a data from a user, the data need to be stored in the computer memory. The data need to be stored in the computer memory. So for that memory, we are giving a name. To read a one variable, to read a one value, we need to declare a variable A. So for example, I want to write a program to find sum of two numbers. How many numbers? Two numbers. That means we have to read two numbers, say A comma B. A is one number, B is one number. We have to add these two numbers and store in another variable, that is C. At that time, we need three variables that declare A, B, C. A is integer, B is integer, C is integer, we declare like that. So the variables are declared like this. Here, for example, A value is at 10, B value is at 20, so C is equal to A plus B. Here A is individual value, B is individual value, C is equal to A plus B. So this is automatically a memory location for A is created. So for example, this is a 1142. The value 10 is stored here. Automatically another memory is created, location is created, the value is stored. So this memory may be a value. That may be a value. These addresses may be different, may not be sequence. The memory, the processor allocates the memory randomly, not sequence, because these variables are different. So another variable may be say the variable name is C. So for example, this may be like this. So here A plus B. A means here the volume and the address A 10. B means the value at address B, that is 20. 10 plus 20 will be added, and is it that is assigned to C? C means the memory locations, that is the student. So this is the way of handling of the variables at the back side. Simply you are writing the program by declaring A comma B comma C, you are writing the program. But what happens background? So like this, the memory is assigned for separate variables. So for example, instead of I want to read at 10 numbers, I want to assign them in ascending order. The next program is I want to read 10 numbers, I want to arrange them in ascending order. So whenever you want to read the 10 numbers, we have to declare 10 variables automatically. We have to declare 10 variables automatically. So when there are so many number of variables, automatically the program may be unreadable, ununderstandable. So if you can declare A is separate, for example 20, B is for example 32, C is equal to 8, D is equal to 9, E is equal to 12, F is equal to 32, G is equal to 50, H is equal to 40. We can take any value, whatever we already get from the user, that will be assigned to the variables. But a separate memory location for A is created, B is created, C is created. The memory is also be randomly allocated, not sequence. Not sequence. The random memories will be allocated. So whenever we want to assign these numbers in ascending order, so we need to compare these two numbers. We need to compare these two numbers. Now, whenever we want to compare these two numbers, we need to access these two memory locations. Now, for example, in the RAM, in the hard disk, there is a header is there. The header is at 1142. So, and move to the header to the 1321 to access that. So, there is a lot of time from moving 1142 to 1321. So that to avoid that one, it is better to allocate a continuous memory. That means 1142. After that one, 1142, another number is another memory location is 1143. But A is an integer, it will require 2 bytes, so that 1142, 1143 allocated to this location. Next, what is another location? 1144. It is better to allocate 1144 to this location. So this memory location is better to locate this one. If you locate 1144 for this level, it is easy to access. It is very quick to access. Furthermore, a concept of array was introduced. The concept of array was introduced. That means array is a variable that can store collection of similar type of variables. Collection of similar type of data. You can say that data elements. So here, these all are integer variables. We know what is integer, what is float. Float are real numbers with fractional parts. For example, 20.34, 20.16 like that. Those are float numbers. So without decimal number, that is called as an integer. These all are the integer values. These are the collection of similar data elements. So these all elements can be stored in a single variable. So that variable is called as an array. Simple. Array is a collection of similar type of data elements. Or you can say that homogeneous data. Homogeneous means same type. There are two words are there. Homogeneous, heterogeneous. Homogeneous means similar type, same type. Heterogeneous means different. Here, array is a homogeneous data structure. Array is a collection of similar type of data elements. So these are all the collection of data elements. Collection will be any number. There is no limitation. That will be 0 or 100 or 1 or 200. The 200 of variables can be stored in a single variable. All the values are stored in a single variable. There is no requirement A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I to store the 10 values. It is enough to have only single variable A. And so all the values are stored in a single variable A. And the values are stored in a continuous memory location. Continuous memory location means if the first variable is stored at 1142, automatically second value will be stored at the 1144, third one will be at, that means first one memory location 1142, that is 10 is 20 is stored here. Automatically 32 will be stored at 1144. Next 8 will be stored in 1146. Okay, that is a continuous memory location. You may have doubt, sir, what about 1144? Sir, 43? What about 1145? Actually, 20 is a integer. We already said that to store the integer numbers, we require 2 bytes of memory. So, 1140 is a 1 byte, 1143 is another byte. These 2 bytes are for this one. 1142, 1140, both are for 20. 1144, 1145, both are for 32. 1146, 1147 for 8. Guess what is the next number? Automatically, you can guess. 1148. That is 9 will be stored. Like this, sequential memory will be allocated. The memory will be allocated. That means that a continuous memory will be allocated. Continuous memory locations allocated for the constants. So this is an array. Array is a collection of similar type of data elements. A single variable can store multiple values, but the continuous memory location is allocated for all the constant. So that is an array. Next, sir, there are the 10 values are there. I want to display this fifth element. I want to display last element. I want to display this first element. How to access individual elements? The individual elements can be accessed by using an index. That means the variable name is the only one. The variable name is the only one, not this all this. The variable name is only one. The variable name is the only A. So this is the index. This is the first element, second element, third element, fourth element, fifth element, sixth element, seventh element. A first, A second, A third, A fourth, A fifth, A sixth. Like that, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the index. Index will always starts with 0. Always starts with 0. Now tell me, what is the index of this one? A0. This one A1. This one A2. Like that. What is this one? A9. There are the 10 elements. Because the index starts with 0, the index ends with size minus 1. The index range is size minus 1. The values will be allocated. So generally, to display what in C language, sorry, C++, you have written like this, C of A. So the value of A will be displayed. Sir, but in A, here there are 10 values are there. How to display A1? You have to write index. Say for example, A of 1. 1 means here 30. For example, we are giving an A of 4. 4 means here 2, 3, 4. This is the 3, this is the 4. So this is an array index. So this is about it. So mainly we have to remember here 4 bands, the collection of similar type of elements. So we can use a single variable to store the multiple values. The continuous memory is allocated and use the index. The starting index is a 0. The ending index is a size minus 1. So this is about that. So here basic terms are there to discuss it. So generally when you are using a concept of arrays, we use some terminologies. The terminology is base address. So this is a new term we did here in C and C++. Base address. What is base address? So generally we declare array like this: integer, say a of 5. We know already this is a one dimensional array. So automatically in computer memory 5 locations are allocated to the variable a. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 bytes. So 5. How much memory is allocated for integer? Say 2 bytes. 2 5 is 10. 10 bytes of memory. So for example, 1142 is a starting number. 1142 43 for this one. 44 this one. 1146 this one. 1148 this one. 1150 this one. 42 44 46. That means 4243. 4445 for this one. 4647 4849 50. So this is address is the first address. If you assign, for example, a of 0 is equal to 10, automatically that means this is the 0th index, this is the first index, second index, third index, fourth index. So this address is called as a base address. Simple. Base address is address of the first location, first index of the array. What is the first index of the array? 0. What is the address of the 0? 1142. This is called as a base address. This is the most terminology. The second terminology mostly is the index. We know the index is the to specify the position of the element in the array. The next one is the index range. We know index range means, so for example, index range means 0 to 4. That is the index. Index range means starting of the index always 0, ending of the index generally size minus 1. Size minus 1. So this is the base. So this base address concept here introduced in the data structure. So because in the types of data structure we have said that the arrays are used to access any element directly. There is a direct access data structure, is a fourth type. Sequential type. That means any word, for example 10, 20, 50, 5, 30. These are the values stored in the variable. Now I want to directly display the 5. If you know the base address, we can know the what is the address value at the 1148. If you know the 1148 base address, if you know the base address, you can directly identify the what is the address of third element. Third element. So that will be discussed in the memory representation in the next classes. The next classes will discuss about types of arrays. There are the two types of arrays you already know. That is a one-dimensional arrays, the two-dimensional array. The next class will discuss about what is one-dimensional array, how it is declared, how it is initialized the values, and how the memory is calculated. Okay, so prepare the notes, at least write the running notes. So if there is any doubt, post in WhatsApp. Okay.